Hey guys, this is Communications, and welcome to something different. This is going to be my first ever video talking about wrestling, and it's something that I've been following for years. I haven't been watching as much as Raw and SmackDown, but I've been keeping up with the results on all the pay-per-views and the results of who won and so forth. So I've been keeping up on things for the past couple of years. I just haven't decided to ever make any videos about it. But from a casual fan's point of view, I decided to see the Rumble, and even from a casual fan's point of view, this Rumble sucked. In fact, you know, this is this sums up this sums up the Rumble this year. You suck. 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 So I just had to. I thought it was perfect. It's a perfect theme song for the 2015 Royal Rumble. Is the "You Suck" choir version of Kurt Angle's theme. Um, right off the bat, it started out bad. I was like, oh, this is a bad sign of things to come here with this really shitty, awful botch of a match between the Ascension and the New Age Outlaws. Now, this was all set up when the Ascension, who I don't care for the Ascension, I haven't watched NXT, so I haven't seen them wrestle on that, but from what I've seen on Raw, they're not that great. Their gimmick sucks. They look like, they look like fucking Kratos from God of War rejects, acting like they're the Road Warriors. And to make matters worse, they start insulting the Road Warriors. And on the last Raw, which I thought was actually better than the Rumble, not this last Raw Monday because it wasn't even real Raw because of the snowstorm in northeastern United States. But the Raw before that, they had like a reunion with like the NWO, like Scott Hall and X Pac, and who's Kevin Nash, and the Ascension come in and start acting like we're the real thing and blah blah blah, being fucking dicks. And so the New Age Outlaws come in and they kick their ass. And so then, what happens is it sets up a match to the Royal Rumble, and this is how the match starts. This is how the pay-per-view starts. And it starts off with a wet fart. It's just like, hey, the Ascension come in, the New Age Outlaws, and the Ascension not for 1 second look like the better team. They didn't look like the better team for 1 second. And this is talking about, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, who are like up in age, and they look way better than the Ascension by a mile. And the Ascension only win because they cheat, and that's how they win. They cheat and trip up Billy Gunn, and then one of the other Ascension guys, he comes in and gets the pinfall because he rams into his leg or something, and then they both, like, it's illegal interference type stuff, and that leads to the win. And it was a shitty match. It didn't last very long. It felt like it was only 2 minutes. So it was like, great, all right, that's a really shitty way to start the Rumble. And then let's get ready to fumble. Let's get ready to fumble away the entire pay-per-view because we're going to start off with a shitty match. So we have that match, which sucked dick and balls. And then we have the second match, was another shitty match. Yeah, pretty much what happens is Victor made a blind tag to Connor and executed the fall of man on Gunn for the pin. So I guess it wasn't illegal interference, but the way it looked like illegal interference to me. They didn't handle it very well. And either way, the fall of man move, okay, it was all right, but at the same time, it's just essentially not for 1 second looked like the better team to me. And so they won. That's good. They didn't get buried, but at the same time, I don't give a shit about the Ascension anyway. They can descend into the toilet bowl and get flushed into the sewer and never be seen on the fucking in the ring again for all I care, because they had a shitty gimmick and they haven't really shown me anything yet. So maybe they'll show me something in the upcoming weeks. because I'm actually going to start following, watching Raw and SmackDown and give my thoughts on them. So, but I just, yeah, as well as the other pay-per-views leading up to WrestleMania, as well as WrestleMania reviews, because I want to do something different. It just changes things up for a bit. And I thought wrestling would be the best sport to talk about, because wrestling is the most cinematic of all sports. But anyway, so yeah, it's just a lame match, and then we got another lame match which follows it, which is a tag team championship match between the Usos and the Miz and Mizdow. I personally don't give a shit about the Mizdow sort of thing. I don't care about Mizdow. I don't like Mizdow. I don't like that idea. I don't like the Miz. So why would I care about a guy imitating the Miz? It was a really shitty match because it was just the Miz versus the Usos. Because Mizdow, when he got in the ring, he just did the Miz's moves. So it's like in my opinion, it's one of the worst tag teams I've ever seen. Because there's nothing new. There's nothing unique about it. Even the Ascension are better than the Miz and the Mizdow. I'd rather see the Ascension in this match than the Miz and the Mizdow. That's saying something, because they showed me nothing in that match other than the one final finisher move, which I'm like, oh, the Fall Man, okay, all right. It just looked like you tripped the guy, though. It didn't look that impressive of a finisher. But at the same time, I was like, okay, that's better than the Miz and Mizdow, because at least they have different unique personalities and they have different moves. It's just the Miz and Mizdow is the Miz, so it's a Miz's stunt double. So it's like, great, I got two Miz's. I don't like, one Miz is bad enough. I don't need two. And then the Philly crowd just goes crazy for Mizdow, which I don't get it. But But Philly, they're used to, cheering for losers because, they're Eagles fans. So I had to throw that in there. No offense. No offense to anybody who's watching for Philadelphia. It's just, I'm a Cowboys fan, so it's like, we got this, rivalry going on. But no, I was just playing, really. It was just weird to hear the big pop for Mizdow. And then, of course, they boo Reigns. And then they boo, it's just, it is what it is. But anyway, this match sucked. It lasted way too long, in my opinion, too. I was like, can this shitty match just end already? That's what I was looking at my watch. I'm like, can we just end this shitty match? Can the Miz lose? And that's what happens. He loses and the Usos retain. Great. Predictable as all hell. And it was a shitty match because it was just the Miz versus the Usos. It was just a 2-on-1 match. I don't want to see that in a tag team. WWE, do me a favor, do us all a favor, and never have the Miz and Mizdow in a championship title match again. Because it's just a shitty dynamic. It's a really lame match to watch because it's just the Miz being a show-off, not giving Mizdow a tag, and it's just him versus the Usos. Jimmy or Jay. And the Usos won again, which is another thing where I'm like, okay, I don't mind the Usos, but at the same time, I'm like, they've been champions for a little bit too long. And I actually liked it when Stardust and Goldust had the titles, because they were unique. They were crazy. The Usos are just, they're there. They're talented. The most exciting the match got was when they jumped off the ropes and did some acrobatics. But other than that, I mean, the Usos they're the best they're the best tag team the WWE has at the moment. And that means that the WWE doesn't have very many good tag teams right now. So, maybe they need to get some better new tag teams in there. Maybe the Ascension will come into play. I don't know, but maybe the Ascension should just take off the stupid shoulder pads and stop trying to be, Anvil or Hawk or Animal and just be their own fucking, team. But, what do I know? But anyway, that match sucked. The Miz gets beat by the Usos. And then we have a Divas match between the Bellas, the Bella twins, Paige and versus Paige and Natalya. And I can see why people like Paige. There's something about her that's pretty sexy, this goth chick, sort of thing. And the way that she goes for a pinfall is very sultry and very sexual. It almost looked like she was going to mount one of the Bella twins. And the most exciting that match got was when Paige was in the match. But then she only is in the ring one time. And then she gets tags Natalya in, and that's it. It's Natalya getting beat up on by the Bella twins for the entire match. And anytime that Natalya gets close to, tagging in Paige, Natalya gets pulled away by one of the Bella twins. and or getting, you know, beat up on. And then the match pretty much, when she has the opportunity to tag in Paige, one of the other Bella twins, she's out of the ring and she just pulls Paige off the side of the ring. She pulls her away from the ring apron, you know, so she can't tag in Natalya. So then Brie Bella hits her finisher, or was it Brie or Nikki? I don't really remember which one. It's kind of hard to tell the difference because, you know, they're twins. And she hits the finisher and pins Natalya, and they win. And then I'm like, and they're all talking to Natalya and Paige, are like, losers. And I'm like, yeah, losers. You know, the real losers are you, Bella Twins, because you didn't even win a fair match. At least win fairly. I don't know. Have Paige tag in and beat her or something. I mean, but I'm just sick and tired of interference. Because I've seen wrestling for many years, and there's nothing more predictable than the villains interfering on the side of the ring, and it gets really old real quick, and I just want to see a full match. And I've never liked interference anyway, except for small instances, like when Sting showed up on Raw and interfered and let Cena win the handicap match to bring back Ziggler, Rowan, and Ryback to give them their jobs back. So okay, I was like, all right, okay. So that's the Divas match, which was lame. So we have 3 shitty matches to start out for the Rumble. Like I said, the Kurt Angle "You Suck" theme really does fit with this Rumble because it pretty much does suck. But then you get the 4th match, which is the fourth match of the pay-per-view, which is the heavyweight championship match versus the title match with 3-way with Cena, Brock, with John Cena, you know, John Wiener, and Fruity Pebbles, versus Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. And leading up to this, I'm like, I don't give a shit about Seth Rollins. I was not a fan of Seth Rollins, and I've earned respect for him after this match. I will give him that. I've earned mad respect for Seth Rollins, and I'm curious about what he's going to do next because of this. And I don't hate him as much as I did before, but I still don't think he's a phenomenal wrestler or this excellent, great guy. But he's got potential, and he's getting there. And so I'm willing to give him a chance, which I wasn't willing to do beforehand because I just thought he was a whiny bitch wearing leather pants, and he had one move, which is the curb stomp, which anybody in the ring could do. I still feel that way. The curb stomp is one of the weakest, in my opinion, easiest finishers for any fucking wrestler to potentially do. I could get in the ring and do the curb stomp. You could get in the ring and do the curb stomp. Anybody on the current WWE roster could do the curb stomp. That's how easy that move is. All it is the guy's on the ground, you run up, you place the heel of your boot or your foot on the back of his head, and you push down. That's it. That's all the curb stomp is. It's one of the easiest finishing maneuvers I have ever seen. I mean, even easier to do than the elbow drop or the leg drop. It is unbelievable. It looks cool, but at the same time, I'm like, this is so easy. So, but anyway, it was harder for Randy Orton to punch somebody in the head than for Seth Rollins to do a curb stomp on somebody. But anyway, so I wasn't, you know, but he is a good heel. I will give him that. I think that's why he's been pushed, is because he's a good heel. He plays a good douchebag. He really does. He plays a good, annoying douchebag that you want to get punched in the face. So that's the point of, you know, that's a good heel. But anyway, so the match starts up, and I have to admit, this is the match of the pay-per-view. This is an excellent match. This had me smiling. This had me into it. There was a lot of, you know, really awesome moments in this match that were worthy of the chants in the crowd saying, you know, this is awesome. Like, it was. It was an awesome match. Could be one of the best matches of the year. It was a really great match, back and forth. Even John Cena wasn't bad. I didn't mind John Cena. And I've never hated John Cena, really, until recently. Like, when I first started watching wrestling again, I actually took a liking to John Cena. Um, but as the years went by, he never evolved with his character. He was just the same character. And I guess Hulk Hogan did the same thing. And a lot of other wrestlers did the same thing as well. So you can't really blame him for not evolving. I mean, Shawn Michaels never really evolved other than yeah, he did. He became the DX guy and part of NW. Okay, so he did evolve a little bit. But at the same time, he was still the same sort of character. But he went heel once. But I just don't see John Cena pulling off being a heel. That's the thing. I don't see him pulling it off. It's against his character. And I have to admit, as much as I'm kind of tired of him after all these years, he has carried WWE for a long time, and he has been the face of the WWE. And he's been a great guy. He's done a lot of charities, and he's done his job, and he's done it well. But it is time for somebody else to take the top of the mountain. It's time. So it was kind of almost like passing the torch type stuff to maybe Seth Rollins or maybe Roman Reigns later, which I know people weren't happy with Roman Reigns, but I'll talk about that later. But anyway, what really was great about the match was just the back and forth. It was, Brock started out just decimating everybody. And it was impressive, man. Brock's just coming in, just suplexing Cena like it was in SummerSlam all over again. And Seth Rollins said before the match, "I'm not afraid," in Raw when he gave him a curb stomp, Brock Lesnar, "I'm not afraid of Brock Lesnar." And then he hides like a bitch when the match starts outside the ring. And then he gets back in and Brock just suplexes his ass, and it's a great crowd pleasing moment. It looks like he breaks, Seth in half. And then I guess it's after Cena and Rollins realized that we can't. Brock is just a beast. The only way we're gonna beat him is if we work together. And so they do like a suplex on him, which is pretty impressive. And then they start trying to take out Brock themselves. I mean, Cena tackles him into the barricade, but Brock keeps getting back up. Cena gave Brock like 3 attitude adjustments. He gave him 1 AA, he still gets back up. He gives him a 2nd AA, Brock gets back up. He gives him a 3rd AA, and then finally he stays down. And then, but Cena goes for the pin, and then Brock gets out of it. Rollins, he gets in one of his moves. He gets in a big move on Brock. I think he gets a curb stomp early on. And then Brock he gets out in 1. There's only like a pinfall of 1. Brock's up, and so it's just this craziness. I mean, Cena knocked him in the barricade. He's still up. Cena throws Lesnar into the steel steps, and Lesnar's still standing. And then finally, Rollins decides what he's going to do. Because after Cena, I think Cena knocked him out, something happened where Brock ends up laying on the announcer table. And so Rollins ends up he does this amazing high-flying leap that reminded me of vintage Shawn Michaels. Elbow drop right into Lesnar on the table, which breaks, and so Lesnar's out, Rollins is out. It was pretty impressive. It was an impressive moment. And it reminded me of why I like watching wrestling. It's just this high-flying, this risk-taking, this just thrills. It was exciting to watch, this match. And I really honestly didn't know how it was going to end. Lesnar is just out, he's just out. Looks like and Heyman's like, get a doctor over here. Doctor, come on, what are you waiting for? Get a doctor. And they're bringing up the stretcher. And Cena and Rollins are going at each other. And Rollins thinks he has Cena, but Cena gets out of it multiple times. Cena thinks he has Rollins. Rollins gets out of he gets out of like a count of 2. He gets up. And then you have like the J&J security come in and try to mess with Cena. And then he puts them both on his shoulders and does an AA with both of them on top of his shoulders, which is pretty fun. And then it looks like Seth Rollins has got Cena, and he ends up getting him in a pretty big move. And then what happens is Brock, because Cena's already laid out. I think Rollins did a pretty impressive move, because I think Rollins There's one move he did with Brock where he lifts him up on his shoulders and showed that Rollins, I guess that's a pretty decent strike, throws him into the turnbuckle. And so that was pretty impressive. But I'm just trying to remember exactly what happens. But I know that Rollins did something to Cena. He jumped off the top rope and I think was trying to deliver another elbow drop on him or something. And then Brock comes out of fucking nowhere, pulls him off the cover, grabs Rollins, and gives him an F5, and then just pins him. And then you're just like, holy Brock Lesnar is a beast. And then it was Brock kept the title, and I was surprised, really. And I like Brock Lesnar, I really do. Yeah, he's definitely a mercenary, but I think he is a good WWE champion. He's a guy that's intimidating. He's a guy you can buy being the champion, and he's a guy who, I don't even if I mean Reigns is gonna face. I know we're getting to that, but I don't know who's gonna beat Brock. I mean, if anybody was gonna beat Brock, it was gonna be two other guys, but that didn't work out. So that was surprising that Brock retained his title. I totally thought Seth Rollins was going to win or cash in his Money in the Bank or something. And that's after Brock, even after he gives him that, I mean, is nuts. He doesn't give him the F5 right away. He pulls him off, and then he starts throwing Cena around, and then goes after Rollins. And Rollins, hits him with the Money in the Bank briefcase 2 times, and then puts Brock's head down, and he's going to give him the curb stomp. And then Brock gets up like a panther, grabs Rollins' skinny ass on top of his shoulders and just F5s him. And it was a great moment. It was just he's gonna curb stomp him, and then Brock's like, oh hell no. And you can even sound like Brock. I don't know what he was saying. He's lifting him up. He's like, yeah, no, not happening. F5. Well, fuck you. Oh, it's boom. But yeah, that was an awesome match, and that in a way kind of made it hard for the Rumble itself to live up to anybody's expectations because the title match was so great. So the Rumble would have had to have been equal to that, which is hard to do because you have all of these different wrestlers, and the Rumble itself can kind of just become this kind of boring hodgepodge of wrestlers just running around the ring and trying to knock each other out of the ring. I'm one of the few guys of the Rumble. I prefer WrestleMania. I prefer tables, ladders, and chairs. I prefer Hell in a Cell. I prefer these other, Survivor Series. I prefer these other, the Rumble. I can watch it. I don't mind the Rumble. Sometimes there's some really great Rumbles. But for the most part, I found that there's a lot of Rumbles that just kind of fall short because it's just so many wrestlers. And just one ring, and it just kind of just smashes together, and it's just not exciting to watch. So, but anyway, so the Rumble starts, and the first person that comes out, number 1 is The Miz. He lasts for about 4 minutes, and then R-Truth comes in, and he lasts about 4 minutes. But then it's Bubba Ray Dudley who makes a return, which is cool, from Team 3D. And that was one of the fun parts of the Rumble, one of the good parts of the Rumble. And he comes in and does pretty well. He, takes out a bunch of guys, but then he gets eliminated by Bray Wyatt. Because he comes out after Luke Harper, and he and Luke Harper come in and, dominate the match pretty much for a while. And, not really Luke Harper. I mean, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt dominates, gets 6 eliminations. Bubba Ray got 2, which is cool. And, so Wyatt really was a good build-up for him, but then I think he ran out of gas. I really think that's what happened. Because after a certain amount in the match, he was just laying in the corner of the ring. Just collecting his breath, doing nothing. Nothing. Nothing except sitting on his ass in the side of the ring. It was well, that's strategy. I don't buy that. I think he was worn out. And so it could be that, or it was strategy. But either way, it wasn't a very good looking strategy. That's to say, it wasn't a very good looking strategy because it just looked like he was loafing around on the side of the ring. So, but he lasts about 46 minutes, but he gets eliminated in a lame way. You have what happens is So yeah, Bray Wyatt comes in. Luke Harper. There's Rowan comes in and starts a fight. Of course, he gets knocked out of the ring, but he's not eligible because he lost a match that would have made it so he could be in the Rumble, but he lost the match. And Curtis Axel comes in, and he was unable to compete for some reason. The Boogeyman comes in and gets a bigger pop than a lot of people, really. It was kind of surprising. Like, he got a bigger pop than Roman Reigns, or a bigger pop than... I'm like, it's fucking the Boogeyman. I mean, I know who the Boogeyman is, but I never remember him being a good wrestler, and he was nothing but a jobber, except the only thing memorable about the Boogeyman was he could eat worms. So that's what happens. He and Wyatt get in like a freak off, and Wyatt knocks him out of the ring. Sin Cara comes in, gets eliminated easily by Wyatt. Zack Ryder gets eliminated by Wyatt. It's Daniel Bryan comes in and lasts for about 10 minutes, and he gets eliminated though, and about halfway into the Rumble, which I gotta admit, they didn't handle that very well. I think he should have made it to at least the Final Four. Then you have Fandango comes in and lasts an unbelievable 7 minutes. It's fucking Fandango. Why did Fandango, of all people, who the fuck is Fandango, by the way? Why did he last 7 minutes? 7 fucking minutes. He lasted longer in the ring than Goldust, than Kofi Kingston, who did really well in the last Rumble. He lasted longer than Titus O'Neil. He lasted longer than Bad News Barrett. He lasted longer than Cesaro. He lasted longer than Dolph Ziggler. He lasted longer than Bubba Ray Dudley. I mean, it's fucking Fandango. Fandango had no business lasting 7 minutes into the fucking Rumble. So Tyson Kidd gets eliminated in 2 minutes, 2 minutes 26 seconds by Daniel Bryan. It was kind of fun to watch Bryan and Tyson Kidd fight because Bryan and Tyson Kidd have some similar styles. Stardust comes in, gets eliminated by Roman Reigns. He lasts for about 12 minutes. Diamond Dallas Page, DDP comes in, does his signature move a couple times. It's fun to see that, see the Diamond Cutter again, but he gets eliminated by Rusev. Rusev comes in at 15. He gets eliminated by Reigns. He lasts 35 minutes in the match. And I never cared for Rusev, and I didn't understand the cheers he got over Reigns. Rusev is a boring character. He's just another evil Russian, and he's just a big guy. He's got no moves. He's just a big guy who can do one big move or whatever. I don't even know what his move. He kicks people. Is that all he does? I don't even remember what the fuck Rusev's main move is. So Rusev lasts way too long, in my opinion, 35 minutes. Goldust lasts 6 minutes. He comes at 16. He gets eliminated by Roman Reigns. Rusev gets eliminated by Reigns. Kofi Kingston comes in, gets eliminated by Rusev. He lasts for 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Adam Rose comes in, gets eliminated by Rusev. Roman Reigns comes in at 19. And, see, I think that's the problem. Daniel Bryan got eliminated before Reigns even showed up. So I think people were just kind of upset about that. Big E comes in last 14 minutes because he's just a big guy. I don't get this whole thing of if they're big guys, they last longer in the Rumble. Yeah, have the big guys, slow guys who don't have a lot of moves and aren't exciting to watch in the ring in the first place, especially in the Rumble, last the longest. That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. It really does. Big E lasts forever and does nothing and doesn't eliminate anybody. Damien Mizdow comes in, gets eliminated by Rusev. Jack Swagger comes in, doesn't eliminate nobody, gets eliminated by the Big Show. 12 minutes into the match, Ryback comes in, doesn't eliminate anybody, gets eliminated by Big Show and Kane, 11 minutes into the match. Kane comes in and lasts forever, which doesn't make any sense because Kane, I like Kane, but he's not the same Kane he used to be, so I don't really buy him lasting this long. And he comes in and he gets eliminated by Reigns, of course, at the end because he's one of the final three, along with Big Show. Dean Ambrose comes in, lasts 13 minutes, which is was nice to see, but he only eliminates one person, and That's all he only eliminates one person, and then he gets eliminated. Titus O'Neil comes in, doesn't last long at all. He just lasts 4 seconds, which is a serious botch. And then Cesaro Bad News Barrett comes in at 27, lasts 5 minutes, about that, gets eliminated by Ziggler. Cesaro comes in, gets eliminated by Ziggler, because Dolph comes in at 30. And Big Show comes in at 29, and Big Show lasts for 8 minutes. And Ziggler only lasts for 2 minutes, and he gets eliminated the most BS way possible with some stupid punch by Big Show, which I always thought was a shitty move. It's not even that interesting of a move. It's just, look, I'm just going to punch you in the face. Yay, I win. Like, is this boxing? It's wrestling. At least Sweet Chin Music is a kick. And it always looks shitty. Ziggler, especially the mid-air punches, is supposed to knock Ziggler out. Ziggler goes for a flying leap, and Big Show punches him out in midair, and it looks fake as fuck, and it never looks good, and it looks like shit every single time. And so then it just becomes the Kane and Big Show where they're just knocking people out and throwing people out of the ring. And the crowd in Philly, as soon as Daniel Bryan got eliminated, I'm sorry, they were a shitty crowd because they were sore losers. Daniel Bryan got eliminated, and they're all like a bunch of whiny bitches, and they're like, Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan. And then they're saying, so we want CM Punk. I'm like, CM Punk is not going to come back. I don't mind CM Punk. I like CM Punk, and it sucks the way that they handled him, WWE, and the way things ended. But he's working at he's working at Marvel right now, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the fans right now. He doesn't care because he doesn't even pay attention to any of this. He's not coming back because he doesn't care. He's focused on other things right now in his career, which is fine because WWE screwed him over. So WWE screwed him over. So WWE screwed the fans. It's not CM Punk screwing the fans. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he doesn't care right now about WWE, and I don't blame him. And because he doesn't care about the WWE at the moment, he doesn't care about the fans chanting his name. So it just screamed sore losers, really. Bryan gets eliminated, and then they start booing everybody. Except for they give Rusev props. Reigns comes in, and it's boo! And then, because they know how it's going to end, which it was predictable. And that's one of the problems. That's one of the reasons why the Rumble was a botch. It was a complete botch. It's because it was predictable. I knew it was going to be Authority, Big Show and Kane, and then versus Reigns. I was right. That's what happened. So, and of course, Reigns wins. The Rock comes in and tries to save the day, beat up on the Big Show and Kane, get the crowd to help, cheer for Reigns, but they still boo him. Which was really, well, that's how it is. If that's how every Rumble ends almost, is there's just so many choices to be the winner. And it was a no-win scenario for WWE. For anyone that won the Rumble other than Daniel Bryan. Because Daniel Bryan is so over right now that if anybody else wins, it's blasphemy. And it's burn down WWE, because Bryan isn't headlining WrestleMania. And part of me's thinking, okay, I could deal with Bryan headlining WrestleMania, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't buy him in the ring with Brock Lesnar. I can't remotely even buy Daniel Bryan, as much as I like him, standing a chance in hell against the Beast. I can't see it. He's like less than half the size of Brock. Was he going to do a running knee to Brock? Brock would just move out of the way. Or he hit him in the face, and Brock would get back up. And then F5 Bryan into submission. Or do a bunch of German suplexes on his ass and make it an even worse domination than the domination of Cena at SummerSlam. I can't see Daniel Bryan putting up much of a fight with Brock Lesnar. If it was any other big, any other champion, like was Randy Orton was a champion, or John Cena, or Kane, or some other guy, I could see that, but I can't see him versus Brock. And I don't. Maybe Daniel Bryan's had something to say about that himself. You do realize that Daniel Bryan just came off of serious neck surgery and had been out of action for 9 months, almost a year, folks. Give him a chance. He might even not feel confident enough in himself to headline WrestleMania, especially against Brock Lesnar. So maybe Daniel Bryan himself thought, okay, I need more time to get a little bit stronger and healthier, more comfortable in the ring, and before I want to take that, want to do that. It's his career. His career was almost ended with that injury. It could have easily been ended with that injury. And maybe he's just taking it slow, and I don't blame him for doing that. The same people say Ziggler should have won. Ziggler's another guy who did great. He was great in Survivor Series. I give him huge props for that. But he's always been a mid-card guy, and yeah, I wouldn't have minded him winning. But at the same time, I don't see him versus Brock. I could see him getting destroyed by Brock too. Wyatt, I don't want to see Wyatt because I honestly feel Wyatt is a boring wrestler other than his personality and Sister Abigail. Other than that, he's just another big guy who I just don't see what everybody's so crazy about Wyatt for. He's great. He's a great personality, but I honestly don't see a great wrestler personally. I see Sister Abigail, great move. But I see a lot of just clotheslines and cheap shots, and I'm going to play mind games, and like I'm Raven, and if I want to see that, I'll watch Raven instead. And then I'm going to, I'll do other, and then I'll, interrupt matches and shit. And it's like, I don't care for Bray Wyatt, personally. So I'm fine with him not winning. If he won, I would not be happy with that. But I get maybe a little bit biased, because I actually like Roman Reigns. I do. I like Roman Reigns. I think he's got a lot of potential. And I could actually see him putting up a hell of a fight with Brock Lesnar. And if you've seen the promo that he did for Raw on Monday, which was just a lot of interviews, mixed in with actual matches from the Rumble because of the snowstorm. It was because the snowstorm made it so they couldn't do a live show. If you saw the promo, Reigns, I thought, did a really good job with the promo with Brock. And, they gave him a good promo, and he showed some decent mic skills. So everyone's saying he's a shitty on the mic. Watch the promo he did with Brock on Raw on Monday, and he's got something going on there. And, it's 3 moves of death. That's more moves than Bray Wyatt has. What does Bray Wyatt have? Sister Abigail, and that's it. At least what I've noticed. That's all he has. A clothesline. That's way more moves than Bray Wyatt has. And Daniel Bryan, I like Daniel Bryan, but I personally think he's a bit overrated. I think he got pushed to the stratosphere earlier than he should have too. So the only reason why Bryan was headlining WrestleMania last year is because he went ridiculously over with the fans, and WWE just had to put him in the WrestleMania, and he did a great job with it. I'm not saying he did a bad. He did an excellent job. He was a great job. And it's probably WWE's fault for fucking him over and getting him hurt, because 3 tombstone pile drivers into a fucking steel steps. Yeah, that's not going to end very well most of the time, and it didn't end well for Daniel Bryan. But the booing and the mad at Daniel Bryan not winning and pissed at Roman Reigns, booing him. I think it's, don't blame Roman Reigns. Don't get mad at Reigns. Get mad at WWE for botching the Rumble. Get mad at Vince for botching the Rumble. Don't get, don't put your anger out at Reigns. He's just doing it. He's doing his job. He worked his ass off to be where he's at. And do you expect him to turn down the opportunity to headline WrestleMania, whether or not he's ready or not? Daniel Bryan technically wasn't ready even when he headlined it last year. And there's a lot of big name stars who weren't ready either, technically, but they still headlined it. This isn't going to be never Jack Swagger, because Jack Swagger doesn't have any close to near of potential as Roman Reigns has. Roman Reigns has a high ceiling. And I really kind of feel bad for him, because he's getting his chance to live his dream and headline WrestleMania, and he was going to get a big push leading up to the Rumble, but he got hurt. So then the push didn't happen. So now people are like, he didn't get pushed enough. Well, it's not his fault he got hurt and the push couldn't happen. And Bryan didn't get really a lot of push either. Well, he just came back. He should win the Rumble automatically. Why? Just because he got hurt and then he came back 9 months later, he's automatically deserved. He automatically earns and gets handed a title opportunity. And plus, I honestly don't think he's healthy enough. Maybe he doesn't think he's healthy enough. Who knows what went into that scenario? Brock Lesnar is a beast. Even in a scripted match, you could still get seriously injured fighting Brock Lesnar. And maybe Daniel Bryan doesn't want his neck being thrown around by Brock Lesnar. And I don't blame him. He's got his future to think about, and his career. So, who knows? But it just comes across as serious butthurt to boo Roman Reigns. And if you're going to unsubscribe to the W Network, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that because it was a shitty Rumble. It really was. It was a bad Rumble. It was a botched Rumble. But with only one good match, so it was 1 out of 5. That's a absolutely terrible percentage. But don't get mad at Roman Reigns. That's what I'm saying. Give him a chance at least. If he screws up and doesn't do well, fine, then get mad at him and all you want. But at least give him a shot. I mean, all the other Shield members got pushes. He hasn't gotten his yet. And he got hurt. And then after he came back at TLC, people were all like, yeah, Roman Reigns. And then when he came to the Slammies and he won the Superstar of the Year, people were like, yay, Roman Reigns. Then when Daniel Bryan comes back off injury, it's all of a sudden it's like, boo! Fuck Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan. And it's like, I feel really bad for Roman because of that. It's like, he's got to be like, well, wait, you voted me Superstar of the Year. You cheered me at TLC. You cheered me at the and now you're what the hell? What do I have to do? I mean, that's the thing. And it's like I said, it's a no-win scenario for anyone who wins the Rumble other than Daniel Bryan. That's why it might have been better for him to not even have been in the Rumble in the first place and been in the title match instead. But it is what it is. But I think he still should have lasted longer than he did. So I think Reigns winning for some people isn't the biggest issue. It's how he won. And that's just authority versus Reigns and blah, authority knocking people out and shit. So this is the idea that I have. I'm going to end this review and whatever with this idea. The idea I have is that the final four end up being Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and Dean Ambrose. And Kane or Big Show. Big Show eliminates Kane, and Kane they eliminate themselves. And you're wondering, okay, what's going on here? And then it's just your heroes, your faces, all in the ring together, having to fight each other for the chance to headline WrestleMania. And then that would be some interesting matchups. You're going to have wrestlers who normally don't fight against each other in the ring fighting against each other. And it makes it unique, and it makes it different, and it's not predictable anymore. And if Reigns won, hey, people would still have a reason to complain, but at least they wouldn't be like, Brady Bryan got eliminated too early. And you'd still have Bryan fans bitching anyway. And I'm not saying, I'm just, Daniel Bryan fans are some great fans. They're great fans. I like Daniel Bryan. But I'm just saying some of the fans are just kind of a little bit too butthurt about this. I gotta be honest. He lost. It happens. I'm a Cowboys fan. My Cowboys lost to the Packers in a shitty way. I know, I feel your pain. But at the same time, I'm not going to go in and go, boo, the Packers suck. No. I'll be like, boo, the refs suck, and boo the NFL, but I'm not going to boo at the team. Same thing, I'm not going to boo Roman Reigns. So, Daniel Bryan didn't win. It sucks. It happens. You can't go undefeated. I'm sorry. So, but that's what I'm saying. You have the four, then you'd be like, okay, that'd be interesting at least. And then you could have a storyline in the next Raw where the authorities all like playing this angle. We gave you what you wanted. You wanted to see your heroes. We gave you your heroes. We gave you what you wanted. It's like, boo, we wanted Daniel Bryan. We gave you Daniel Bryan, but he didn't win. Well, we gave you Ziggler, but he didn't win. But then you could be like, we gave you Ziggler, but he didn't win. We gave you Bryan, but he didn't win. We gave you Ambrose, but he didn't win. Reigns won. But who wins, really? There are no winners here. See, that's the whole thing. You just turn it into this whole spin where the Authority did this on purpose to face heroes against heroes and divide the fan base. It's actually a pretty good plot. It's like, we gave you what you wanted. Don't get mad at us. We gave you what you wanted. It's like, but see, it would have been a total no-win scenario. Because it would have been, well, I wanted this guy to win. Well, he lost. Well, I wanted this guy. Well, he lost. I wanted this guy to win. Well, he lost. I wanted this guy. He won. And then everyone else would be like, but Reigns sucks. But then it would actually work better because they would have lasted to the Final Four instead of this stupid, predictable Kane and Big Show knocking people out bullshit. And that wouldn't have just pissed off the crowd entirely and just been like, oh, great. The Authority versus everybody again. But that's just the idea I have. And ideally, it would have just been better for Daniel Bryan to not have been in the Rumble. Because it's just, you're in a no-win scenario with a guy that's that over to have him lose the Rumble. It's just the way it is. It's like he loses and it's like, boo! Burn the whole WWE down! But I'm willing to give Reigns a chance because I actually like him and I think he has potential. And out of all of the three guys, I think he has the most potential to put up a fight. And a believable fight. And a hell of a match with Brock. Just the other guys, I like them, but I just don't think they have the same potential to do that as Reigns does. But who knows? Maybe if they got the chance, they would do it. I don't know. But I know if Daniel Bryan came in and fought Brock and won, I would call bullshit, as no amount of scripting and imagination can make me believe Daniel Bryan is going to beat Brock Lesnar. That's just how I feel. But anyway, I really don't know what to say about the Rumble, except it was a pretty shitty Rumble. And, might as well, why not? Sums it up pretty well. It sucked. One good match. The rest of it sucked.